What's up, legends? I hope you're having an amazing week. We are going to get into Bitcoin's price action today, and hopefully if there's time left over, we may talk about Ethereum as well. But before we do that, I just want to apologize. I have been MIA for a couple of days. I've had a nightmare in this Airbnb that I'm in, so I've been frantically trying to get out of it, but I'm there anyway. I'm there. The problem is solved and I am safe. That's all that matters. So let's talk about this price action, because my first question to you is, without me, have you trusted the process? Because so far the process has looked a little bit tricky right here, but we are doing what we're meant to be doing. So I'm going to get into that. I'm going to get into a lot more. If you are new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. If you're from the TTC tribe, then this is an addition to the update that I just posted in our Discord, and I'm going to go through some of these posts during the week as well. But let's take it back to the weekend trap. That's where I like to start my YouTube videos, at the beginning of the week, which is usually Monday, even though today's Wednesday. So if we take the trap from the end of US on Friday to the dead gap zone, we're looking at where most of the candle closes were during that period of time. And once we draw that box, it's very easy to identify where the spikes happened, and these spikes form the weekend trap. So here, when we broke this weekend support here, this would have triggered pending short orders, and those short orders would have been trapped as price moved back into the range. These people who opened shorts down here were now waiting throughout all of this period here with their stop loss most likely just above here, or if they're 100x traders, that could even be liquidation level. So these people got trapped as price pulled into this range, didn't go anywhere, didn't release them, and then come close to the dead gap zone, which I find lately the false move week beginning has been happening within about 6 hours before dead gap zone. Here it was, just on the 6 hour mark. So only lately that has been the time to look for false move week beginning. That doesn't mean it will always be that way. It's just how it seems to be happening at the moment. And if you don't know, the dead gap zone begins 5 p.m. New York time. So if you count 6 hours before that, that's when you start looking for that false move week beginning. So this wick right here would have either stopped out or liquidated the shorts down here. It also triggers the pending long orders, breakout traders that have their long positions up here. So here shorts got triggered, here they got stopped out, here longs got triggered. Then you have the Monday trend, and that trend usually ends anywhere in the UK to US session. It can sometimes spill over into Tuesday. So once you see that false move, you'll usually see the price start to pull away from it, which is what we saw here. You can trade that. Sometimes it works out to be a good day trade, sometimes not. However, even if you did day trade that small move, you are looking for a trend reversal around UK open or around US open. And if you don't get either of them there, you're looking for it on Tuesday morning around Asia session. So in this case, we had this W formation. So the peak low on the left side of it started in Asia, but you can see here our return to it was in UK, right around the open, and it was a really nice high volume hammer as well. So that forms the W formation that tells you that this move to the downside is over. False move week beginning, damage is done, because the only goal of the false move week beginning is to take out anyone who opened trades on the weekend. Now moving forward, we then had this move out here. This was the initial break, and this was when I actually posted in the Discord and said to people, wait for a retest. And the reason for that is because we still had trading light orders at 29.8 and 29.5. They were long orders that were down there, so it was a bit of a risk to take a long position when there were longs so far below that price at the time, because the price at the time was still at 30,000. But the thing is, when it comes to heat maps, and I'll just use this to show you, if you see orders down here like this, that doesn't mean that price is definitely going there. There has to be something above the current price that is a high level that would cause price to spike into there to reverse before this has a chance. So when I was talking in Discord about the fact that those orders are there, it's a concern that they're there, but there wasn't anything above price to push price down to there. But for that reason, I recommended we go with the conservative entry. So the way that you play W's, the aggressive entry is to take your position on the second peak of the W. The conservative entry is to wait for price to break the 50 EMA with high volume, which we can see happened on this candle right here, then to come back to retest it. Now, I had a very, very good question in the Discord that I want to cover on this. Someone said to me, is the very next candle, can that be counted as a retest? Because price pushed up here and the very next candle came back to the 50 EMA. My answer to that question was, if the very next candle returns to the 50 EMA, you're usually going to hit that level again. It will either consolidate sideways or it will bounce, but it will return. And you can see right here, this is where it returns. So usually when you're looking for a break and retest, it doesn't usually happen in one candle. The reason I say that is because if this was to break up with high volume and then this was to return with high volume, that could just be a fake out. So I don't tend to take my retests on the very next candle unless that candle looks rather bullish still, which this one was kind of just a nothing candle. Just let it go for a bit and eventually it will come back to the 50 EMA most of the time. And that's when you can see here we had that doji from there. There was a couple of candles here that you could have chosen to be your entry for the conservative entry, but this is a really good example to show you if price does break the 50 EMA and the very next candle comes back to it, you'll usually have a second chance to get in. You don't have to rush in off that second candle. Of course, there will be times where that doesn't happen and it will only be one candle and take off, but more often than not, you're going to get a good chance, a good second chance to relax, think about your entry, plan it, and let price come back. Now, from there, we've moved away. So I would count this as rise level 1. This is the retest. This is rise 2. And it looks at this point in time that we've gone into a stacked situation, which means that rises and drops can happen and not increase or decrease price. They can just go sideways. So either this is a consolidation, like it does look like we've had some fake outs here and here to try and scare people into God knows what before they make the next move. But either this is a really big consolidation or it's just a stacked rise. Now, the thing is, the reason I am still holding my long and I'm not too worried, even though we had this big scary move back down here, just remember one thing I always say is fast up, fast down, consolidate to rebalance. So when we had this move here at the end of US, it was a fast move. If you happen to be awake watching it, it just came with too much speed. And we know that the speed behind a move is the false move. So of course they were going to come back and collect it. They don't always immediately come back. Sometimes they take time to come back, but in this case it was immediate. And you just got to remember, a fast move up creates an imbalance. So if they want to bring it back, that imbalance remains until we go into this consolidation. But at the same time, if you're following the model and you're trusting the model, this move here created a higher low in relation to this W. So all this was right here was a W retest. W, rise, retrace. Even if you called all of that level 1, we don't know at this point until we actually get a shift out and break the high of the day. I'll get to that in a second. But no matter what you called this was a retest because it created a higher low. So there should have been nothing to panic about there. Mind you, this was an amazing place to take some profit because it came for this liquidation level. There was actually 2 of them. There was one at 30,820, which was this one here, which it took, and the 30,934. So this was definitely a liquidity grab because it just took these 2 levels. These are gone now, so I'll remove them. And as I also mentioned to you, Trading Light had long orders down at 29.8 and 29.5. If we go to Trading Light, you can see here, they're gone now as well. So we're going to remove those as well. They're no longer relevant. Finally, now looking at the current price action. So what I've told the community in my latest update right here is I want to see Monday's high broken for continuation. This may happen pre-CPI. The first step is to break the high of the day. So if we have a look at that, this is the high of the day right here that price is currently trying to break. And just as a side note, that's another reason to get into the community, guys, because if I have Airbnb owners having a lover's tiff that I have to somehow mediate, then I've still got my updates going on in the Discord, even if I can't get on YouTube. So if you're interested, check the links in the description description of this video. It's under the Traders Toolkit. If you click on that link, you'll get the details to come and join us to learn this method in full, because there's about 15 trade setups for this. So there's a lot to learn that will help you exploit the market. And plus, we're in the Discord sharing these liquidation levels and heat map orders and all that sort of stuff. So you'll have a lot of support in there if you're wanting to learn this method in full. But moving on, this is the area I want to see price break next. It's good that we broke the initial high of the day. So this was Asia's high of the day, which is at around 30,700. We've broken that. Now we've got to break the high of yesterday, which is at 30,000, what is it? 30,820. If we can break that, the next level obviously is this, but now we've got this new liquidation level up here at 31,273. So can we get to that before CPI? I hope so. It's a bit of a slow grind right now, so we may not. Keep an eye on the break of this level, which is almost happening now, but this candle could reject and we could head down. So until the candles close above, you wouldn't call it a break. But 30,820 is the first thing we got to break. Then 31,060, which is this high right here. Then we're hoping to go for the 31,273. And it is possible for all of that to happen before CPI. If it does, I would recommend taking some profit there. If not closing your whole trade, at least like taking some profit at any of these levels, because CPI is tricky and it can cause some volatility. It can also be the reason for midweek reversal, because we are heading to that time. It's Wednesday now. Let's also have a look at what other news events we've got going on this week. So we've got CPI in a few hours from now. Tomorrow we have core PPI as well. So if we don't get midweek reversal today, it's possible we get it tomorrow on these news events. And then Friday we have consumer sentiment. But I would say today and tomorrow are the ones to watch out and see if you can get that midweek reversal trade if it comes. And before I get into Ethereum, if you are looking for somewhere to trade this stuff on, be sure to check out OKX. We've got a new deal for you guys today. It's actually really quite a fun one. If you use the link in the description of this video, you can get access to a lucky draw. Let me show you how this works. So once you click on the link that is in the description of this video, you will be brought to this page. Just click on that Enroll Now button that you see, and then follow the instructions to set up a new account. Once you've done that, scroll down on this page and you will see the option here to have a spin. You can use just the one spin by clicking on the button on the left, and then that will give you a prize. Or you can click on the 5 spins on the right, and that will spin 5 times to give you a reward as well. And the more you trade, the more spins you get. So be sure to use that link if you're looking for an exchange to trade on and give yourself access to many free rewards. Now let's talk about Ethereum, because Ethereum's in a similar situation. It's a little bit better because at least at the high of Ethereum, we have a vector candle, which I much prefer rather than just wicks alone. But this makes it very clear that this is the area we have to break for Ethereum if we're going to have continuation. The weekend trap was exactly the same situation. The spike to the low, the spike to the high, the Monday move to the downside, the W formation, the move and the retest of the 50 EMA, the move to the high. Everything is literally exactly the same as Bitcoin, although I think maybe the percentage move wasn't as big. But anyway, here we are. This is just another retest and we are back up. Now, same thing. We're at the high of the day right now. Good that it's broken the initial high of the day. Very, very wicky at the high of the day though. Just to be clear about the difference. Initial high of the day is the highest point that Asia went on the current day. High of the day is the highest point price went the day prior. So initial high of the day is always our first goal to break. The initial high or low of the day, I should say. That's always our first goal, to break one of them. Then if the high of the day or the low of the day is the next closest one, that's what we're looking for then. Then eventually we're looking for breaks of highs and lows of the week. So at this point in time, we're really hanging on, hoping that we break this high of the day. It is right at the vector candle, so we would expect that there's going to be high volume in here and it would be a bit of a struggle. As long as every time it attempts to break it and pulls away, it continues to create higher lows, we're okay. But if it ends up getting in there and then pulls away and creates a lower high that potentially breaks EMAs, that's when this move to the upside is over. So be careful of that, because we're really on the brink of a potential change in trend, but that doesn't mean automatic short just yet, because it is trying to get through it. So don't panic. I definitely would wait for the actual structure to change, and just bear in mind that we don't usually reverse trends unless there's a news event. So it may not happen till closer to CPI time. If we can get through this vector, we've got a liquidation level, a new one up at 1909, which is a little bit higher. So again, look, hopefully we get a spike up into there. It could be a news event stop hunt that takes it out before midweek reversal, or we could just continue and smash right through it. Impossible to know until the news comes out. But the same story with this move to the upside at the beginning of the week. It was just a liquidity grab because we had this liquidation level at 1893 and that got taken out. So that one is now gone. The next large one above price is 1909, and we also have these two below price at 1879 and 1860. So if price did come down for that, it would break the 50 EMA right here, but it would hold the 200 EMA. So just, I wouldn't jump into anything. I would wait. There's going to be a retest of one of those. That would be your area to short before going down. Again, it all comes down to the timing and how close to the CPI we are before that happens. Guys, if you enjoyed something and if you learned something new in this video, be sure to smash that like button, hit subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and don't forget to check out the links in the description of this video. Come join us to learn this method in full. It's in the Traders Toolkit. You'll see the link there. That will give you access to our website where you can learn more about our courses and our community, and also jump on that OKX link so that you can be part of the exclusive lucky draw. Have an amazing day. I will see you tomorrow.